Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine and I have a winter tutorial to share with you today. We are making Suncatchers using this book and supplies that are available at A Child's Dream, and you can find all that product info down in the description box below. So we're going to make 3 winter-inspired Suncatchers, and they vary in difficulty. And the first one we're going to do is a square star, and I think this is probably an intermediate level star. So for this project, you also need kite paper, and kite paper does come with the booklet as part of a kit, but I am running low. As you can see, I only have 1 sheet of purple and no more blue, so I went ahead and I got another stack, and I'm just going to go in and get a sheet of the blue because this is going to be a multicolored star. Now I just chose to do 2 colors, but you can certainly do 1 color if you'd like. The first thing we're going to do is cut both sheets of paper into quarters so that you have 4 squares. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can do this. The first way is just simply to use a pair of scissors and to cut each individual sheet. Later on, I'm going to show you a little bit faster way in order to do this. So once you get all 4 of your sheets cut, or rather 2 of your sheets cut into 4 pieces, you're going to have a total of 8 pieces. You're just going to fold it in half so that you end up with 2 rectangular pieces. Then you're going to fold the tip in so that it almost looks like you're making a paper airplane. You're going to unfold it and then you're going to fold it again so the tip is really tiny. You're going to do the same thing to the other side by folding the corner in, and then you're going to lift it open again, and then you're going to fold it again using that crease line as your guide. Next, you want to glue it together, and I'm using some clear glue here. Just a glue stick will work just fine. And you want to glue both flaps down, and then you want to glue it again so that it almost looks like the beginnings of a paper airplane. So you want to go ahead and do this to all 8 squares. So you can progress to the next step even before they dry completely. Now, I forgot to show you one important step before you can glue this star together, and that is to fold up both of the bottom pieces up to the center. So you can see that the shape is now diamond shape, and that's going to help when you start to assemble your star. So go ahead and do that to all 8 pieces before you glue your star together. And to glue your star together, you just need to put some glue on the lower quarter section of your design, and then you can lay the next sheet over it. And you're going to keep doing this until you get to the very end, and you only need to just put a little bit of glue. It holds together really well. And when you get to this final sheet, I actually made a mistake and I put glue on both purple pieces, but you actually want to wedge that final piece in between those last 2. And if you were using just a single color all the way through, then it wouldn't matter. But because we're using 2-toned colors, then we want to make sure that we have the pattern resemble the rest of the pattern. So that's it for this one. You just make sure that it all glues together well. I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to this one for some seasonal festivities, so I'm using my glitter glue, and I've gone around so that it almost looks like a pinwheel. And I really like the way this turns out, but it's not my favorite of all of the stars that we do today. So the last thing you want to do is just add a little bit of thread so that you can hang it in the window. And this is optional. You could just tape it to the window, but I do like adding the thread. And you just want to pierce one of the tips of the stars, and then we can go ahead and tie off that string. I didn't wait until the glue was dry, but that's okay. I'm hanging it in the window and it's drying just fine, and I'll let you get a closer look at it at the end of this video. And this is both a precision art as well as just a beautiful art, because the more precise you are with your folds, the more beautiful the star design is going to look. So we're going to work on the 10-point star now, and this one was pretty advanced. Now most of the folds are pretty basic, and you're going to need 3 sheets of paper, and it's best if you use the same color for this one. So here I am using my paper trimmer in order to cut the sheets down into quarters. It was super quick, and that's good because the rest of this is going to take a really long time. So you're going to fold it in half down into a diamond shape. Then you're going to unfold each flap, and then you're going to fold it again so that you've got both points almost like an arrow And next you want to actually unfold those flaps, and you're going to refold them using your crease line as a guide. And I found that it's easier to fold them when I turn them upside down the way I just did. I'm not sure why, but I just have an easier time doing it that way. And this would be a little bit more complicated for a young student. So in general, this kind of folding probably works well for maybe 8 years and up, but I found that my 6-year-old daughter really enjoyed working on these crafts with us, but only for maybe 2 or 3 of the squares. Doing the whole entire star was a little bit complicated, as in that it was tedious. So I'm going to show you a really simple star following this complicated star. So we're going to do the same thing to the bottom part. So we went ahead and folded it in, and then we're going to unfold it, and we're going to use that crease line to make another fold. So there's a lot of folding and unfolding and refolding and then gluing. So each one of these takes at least 30 seconds to a minute, and you have to do 10 of them. So that's where the tedious part comes in. But that's not where the complicated part comes in. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So once you get this one glued up, you can go ahead and glue your other 9 squares because you want a total of 10 of them. So you'll end up with 2 extra squares. Now this is the complicated part. They don't arrange as perfectly as other stars because there are 10 points. So you want to assemble your star first, and then you can glue it in place. And this is where the complicated part comes in, because I struggled with this a lot, and I have a tip on how to make it a little bit easier. If you have a light box, then you'll be able to see the design a lot easier to see how you should arrange your 10 points. If you don't, you can always try to get your star design on your window where you can get the light coming through so that you can see how to position it. Another tip would be to go ahead and glue it in place really lightly and then put it up onto the window and then reposition it. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm repositioning it even though I can't really tell what the star design is going to look like. And once I get it up and I can see the light through it, I realize that some of the points needed to be shifted. And once you get it in the window, then you can really see where those points need to shift. And there's only a couple of spots that probably could have been shifted a little bit, but overall, this design was really beautiful. Alright, so let me take you all the way back to the beginning of the book, and let's do the simplest design here. And this is great for your youngest students if they want to participate with you. And it is very simple and very straightforward, and there aren't that many folds, which is fantastic. So again, we're going to be folding our sheets into 4 squares, and we're going to go ahead and cut them. And this time I'm just layering 2 together to cut them. If you don't want to use scissors, you can also tear them very carefully by folding them back and forth a couple of times, and then you can tear them. Alright, so for this one, you're just going to go from corner to corners, from diagonal corner to the other corner, and then you're going to open it up and put them back together almost like an arrow. So this is very similar to the last star design that we did, but instead of creasing and folding again, that's it. We're just going to glue this together. So now that we have all 8 points to the star, it's time to assemble it. And we're just going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue into the last bottom corner, and that's it. And you can see how beautifully they come together. And this also looks magnificent as a really large star as well as a multicolored star. My daughter recently made one for me that had all the colors of the rainbow using full sheets of kite paper, and it was magnificent. So you can see how beautiful those star designs look in the window. This is a wonderful winter project, but it's actually great year-round. You can just change out the colors to suit the season. If you want to see some of the other projects we're doing for our winter-themed unit, you can tap on the screen right now. And if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.